So what if I actually could show you how to take one house and turn it into two? No, this isn't some creepy alchemy, and I don't know any magic. But there's a very real way that clients of ours for years have been making the move to the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, and honestly, this is possible in most parts of Texas. Selling their home in some of the higher cost of living regions of the country, all throughout New York, New England, California, the Northwest, parts of Florida, and certainly many other parts of the country. Moving to Texas, specifically DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area, and turning just the equity from their homes in, let's say, LA or New York, and purchasing two properties here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, one to live in and one as a rental or maybe a flip. Usually it's a very nice rental. Quick example. We recently had a client move from California and move out of what most people would consider a fairly modest home in California. But where they were living, that modest home was a $900,000 home. They moved here, and with just their equity, and they did have good equity, they had $500,000 to $600,000 in equity. With just their equity, they were able to purchase a very nice home for them to live in and a nice little starter home rental to rent out, and they were automatically cash flowing over $400 a month in that second home. So not only did they buy themselves a nicer home than they lived in before, they bought a second home that was helping pay for both of them. You can do that too. It's not all that complex. And in a market like Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, regardless of whether we're in a buyer's market, seller's market, stable market, or whatever, for the long foreseeable future, we are going to have the land and availability not only to buy existing inventory, but to potentially even build. So many other people that are making the move here are building their dream home here for a fraction of what their previous home cost back in New York or LA or whatever the case may be, and then purchasing an existing home or a twoplex or fourplex or something like that as a rental property. You know, certainly people have gone other routes with land or commercial or things like that. And of course, not everybody's investing when they move here. But even if the only investment you're making is in your own home, you're finding a way to potentially pay cash for that with just the equity from your previous home, or to bank or invest that cash and borrow at attractive interest rates, a much lower priced home. So, the big meat of the topic here is that compared to almost any other highly desirable, quality job market, great place to live with healthcare and airports and, professional sports and great educational opportunities at every level of the spectrum with entertainment and social culture and all these things. Any other places that have all of that, almost all of them have a higher cost of living. So when you make that move to most places in Texas, especially Dallas-Fort Worth, your dollar is simply going to stretch a lot farther. So some of you, many of you have, some of you will choose to take some of that money, buy a phenomenal, ideal home for you, your family, whoever's coming with you, or for you as a single person, and then put some of that money on the table, either as a real estate investment or maybe into the market or into savings or retirement or whatever. But really, however you look at it, making that move is probably going to free up some investment opportunity for you. The most common thing we're seeing is folks turning one house into two. One house in California, one house in New York, one house in the Chicago area, anything like that becomes two houses in Dallas or Fort Worth or Frisco, McKinney, Arlington, Keller, or maybe other markets across Texas like Houston or Austin or something like that. But we are seeing here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that that's happening with regularity. So not only are you turning one house into two, you're turning that same investment into income now. Instead of simply the cost or the outflow for your home, one of those is now income generating. Plus, over the long haul, there's no guarantee, but it's highly likely to appreciate. The value of both of those homes are now going up, but one of them is an income source and one of them is a more ideal place to live than you had before. So it really is a 2 or 3 times positive benefit with a huge return on your move to the area. So the investment we're talking about is really making a move to Texas, making a move to Dallas or Fort Worth. So if that's something that you're thinking about, you can get in touch with us. We're real estate brokers. We do this all the time. I really got into the business as an investor, and we help legitimate investors all day, every day, make really wise choices and get creative with their investments. You can call or text us anytime at the phone number on the screen, or you can always find us online at overunderagent.com. Check out the rest of the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.